Well, I'm super excited to have you guys. I think everybody who's tuned in probably knows who you are. We got Ian Somerhalder and Paul Wesley here. I'm Derek Correa. I'm the president of Reserve Bar. Privileged again to be hosting you guys and talking about your latest thing. You're very busy. You're always up to something. You're always on the road. You know, yeah, sometimes no good, and that's fine. But you guys, you know, we've spoken before, and maybe some of the people tuned in have heard from you guys before, and maybe some people have even seen you out and about because you're always pounding the pavement. You're always visiting accounts. You run this like legitimate businessman, and I just think that that's fantastic. And we're here to talk about a new expression, your cask strength release. So, you know, I'm super curious, before we get into the bourbon itself and so forth, as business people, you know, this is like a strategic decision to think through, what are you going to do next after you poured your heart and soul into launching, you know, the original Brothers Bond, and it's been a huge success, critically acclaimed, award winning. What was behind choosing to go with a cask strength release next?
I mean, it's our 80 proof, right? It's this, but so it's the original DNA, uncut, unfiltered, straight from the barrel, boom. And so you're getting this in its purest form. So it was like the obvious next step. It's so people who enjoy the 80 proof will basically have the opportunity to have this 80 proof, but in its purest form.
Yeah, I mean, you know, listen, Derek, you and I, we talked about this a lot in New Orleans as well, and this is something that Paul and our team have talked about forever. Anybody, whether it's the amazing brains, souls that make up this business from a critical side, or consumers, a lot of people saying, hey, you know, 80 proof is just not my thing. But what we set out to do was create a flagship 80 proof bourbon that was so easy to drink out of the bottle, like approachable, but nuanced and complex enough where even, and I make a joke about it, but pardon my French, but like even the bitchiest bourbon drinker can taste our 80 proof and say, wait a minute, this is a well-crafted spirit. This was for the purists out there. This is
the people who like it hot.
The people, some like it hot, some like it hot. Yeah, he is awesome. Well, that's a great song, by the way. But
it is.
And by the way,
I thought you were going to hit that high note.
We're all feeling the heat now. But you know, the thing about Paul's right, and this is a lot hotter. But there's, you know, the thing about to take away from this is something that we just literally sit in this room or on this deck, really just reveling in, which is the flavors of this are so much more concentrated. You know, you're going to get more of that vanilla, more of that caramel, more of that smoke, or that like leather, you know. You're going to get highly concentrated versions of that, and that's what makes this so special. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So look, I mean, it makes perfect sense. You put a lot into figuring out that optimal mash bill, finding the right oak and char, you know, distilling it, aging it, and coming out with a great bourbon. So the next logical thing is to go and do a cask strength, right? With that same mash bill, it's the same stuff, it's the same casks. But you know, knowing you guys, and especially you, Ian, I mean, you're like, you know, you crawl into barrels and whatnot. Like, how did you?
I tried to lock him in one. Didn't work. Yeah. It's the.
I mean, two brothers would go in there.
That thing for a lot of money.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute because I do want to talk to you guys about barrel picks. But basically, to come up with the barrels that went into making this one, were you guys like you know, choosing those barrels from the Rick House? And tell us a little bit about
70 of them.
So you tasted a lot, and you were strategically picking from different parts of the Rick House to get different barrels and to find like an awesome blend for this, right? So it is the same mash bill, and it aged in the same casks, but it's cask strength. But also, you picked the casks that blended into this release, right?
So smaller batch.
Yeah,
it's 70 batch.
70. It's 70 barrels. I mean, listen, man. The thing about this, it's like this is where we get, we geek out on it. A lot of companies, and as we grow, obviously, we're going to have this, but we don't have inventory. We have no one that does the inventory management. We do the inventory management. Go back and forth to Lawrenceburg and sit and work with, as you know, the young and crazy talented Sam Schmelzer at MGP. But these barrels, like, this was a 2-year dream of ours, like our rye, right? Like, if you're going to think about releasing something like this is a big category. Like, if you have the balls to release this, you better come at it with, your best foot forward. So at 2 years, we can start understanding where these barrels are starting to perform. And because we blend the, my brain's shutting down, the 3 mash, 3 grains to get this 4 grain, 2 of these mash bills perform a lot better on the mid to lower floors of the rick houses. One of our mash bills loves being sky high, really exposed to that really high heat, really high humidity. And so managing that and managing our expectations of the barrels and managing the trajectory of these barrels is really like it's pretty wild, man. We really go to the mat to find those. And this was that expression. And we feel, we're over the moon.
So you guys, like two true brothers, align around picking this, blending it. It really is, and I want people to understand, because a lot of people, hopefully on this call, are real bourbon people who are excited about this, and some of them are your fans, and some of them are both. But I think it's important that your fans understand, that this is a real effort, that you guys, the reason why it's called this, and the reason why you're doing, you have to agree on this, right? Like, you had to align around the original product, and now you had to align around this. So this is really, in your opinion, the best of what you could have put in a blend at cask strength, right?
And you could, what's cool about this cask strength is you could customize it to your liking. If you want to add a little bit of water and play with the taste, not to get it, I don't know if we're tasting right now, but that's what's great about it, is that you can really make it your own. So for everyone listening to this, if you get a bottle of cask strength, you could have it as hot or as diluted as you want.
I mean,
well, I do suggest that we taste now, because I can only have it in front of me and talk about it for so long.
Yeah.
We actually got it.
I know.
So let's nose it. Walk us through.
This.
Talk about the nose.
So obviously, you're going to get on our flagship 80 proof. You're going to have much more floral, sort of like baked banana bread notes. You're going to get a lot more nuttiness and more intense baking spice. A lot of leather.
I still get some banana bread.
Oh, yeah. 100%. But it's like the.
Yeah.
It's like the
richer.
It's the richer part. It's almost like, like the corner, or like the edge of the bread.
Yeah.
What do you call? My brain. What do you call the edge of the bread? The
crust.
The crust. Cheers, everyone.
By the way, I'm gonna compare the nose. I've got, somebody's been drinking my original Brothers Bond here. I don't know what happened.
Drinking ours too, aka us.
Oh yeah, there's no comparison.
Yeah,
it does pull through a lot of those same notes. The intensity is just quite a bit different.
The intensity is just way ratcheted up. But also too, the mouth experience. Of course, it's got more heat on it, but those flavors are just so much more condensed.
It doesn't have. Of course, it has more heat at this proof, but it's not. It's still not like a fire. It doesn't have it doesn't go all the way to fire, and the mouthfeel is nice, and the finish, it's definitely a more robust finish, and probably lasts a lot longer too than the 80. That's really nice.
About a 2-minute finish, and you get more of that ripe banana. You get more of that that nuttiness, that condensed nuttiness. Warm rye breads, warm rye spice. We had
walnuts on the table earlier, and you also get that kind of walnutty. walnuts and, like you said, I think you said leather. It's like that kind of, you
Leather
know.
and smoke. Here, get
Yeah.
into it now because we just opened this a little while ago. You smell that leather? Like it's not as fresh like the 80 proof. It's not like suede, right? This is like saddle leather, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
It's funny, you know, at this really high concentration, right? Like 57.9. But to me, it's like we're getting neat, and for me, it's like it's so smooth, even this hot, you know.
You know what? I'm gonna put a drop of water in it because I'm getting like a lot of nose out of it, and the nose is fantastic. But sometimes when things are high proof, you know, you got to put a little, you got to pull it down just a little bit to let your tongue work it too. So I'm just put a little splash in here and see what happens. If you're doing this at home, recommend whenever you're tasting anything, taste it neat. Add a drop of water or two and taste it again, and you'll find that it's a bit of a different experience. And I'll probably throw it on a rock over here too in a second and see what that's all about.
Absolutely. I throw it on the rock all the time. Should have thrown it on the rock yesterday myself.
I should have thrown it on the rock. Wow.
Yeah, that's really something. You do get a little bit, you don't really get any smoke to me in the original 80. So I don't know if that's just a little bit of the barrel char that comes through at barrel strength that doesn't make it through, but that's an interesting little twist on it, especially if you like, you know, Scotch or Mezcal or you're into that smokiness.
I love it.
It's just a little drop of that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's funny. So there's two separate cooperages that toast and char these amazing barrels that we have. And it's so wild. Like, we have, again, we blend 3 grains to get 1 4 grain. So there's 3 separate mash bills. It's interesting. 2 of these were distilled in July. So warmer distillation. Is it July? Yeah. So in the heat of the summer, but that performed better in lower, cooler parts of the rickhouse, where one of them was distilled in December. Much cooler time of distillation. Lawrenceburg, Indiana, it's cold, but perform way better up in the higher parts of the rickhouse. You know, more heat, more humidity. And then when you put these together, you now, like you said, on the 80 proof, you're not getting smoke like we are here. And that number 4 char on the stage, number 2 char on the barrel heads. But that char, like you said, Derek, really comes through on this cast room. It's incredible.
Yeah, really nice. I'm going to drink it a little bit chilled now with a nice little, with a Death Star. I got a Death Star in there.
Paul? You have ice cubes with Paul's face on it?
You know, I was like, do you make those? Because we could sell them probably.
We need them.
By the way, we probably should.
Wait, I had at the Virgin Hotel in Nashville, they have ice cubes with Dolly Parton's face on them.
Yeah.
And I said, if this is a ice cube with Paul Wesley's face on them, it would be the best sold.
You'd hope it would never melt.
It would taste significantly better, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
No question.
You know, wine always tastes
alkaline water only.
yeah, right. You know, wine always tastes better in like a big, you know, goblet of a big, you know, instead of like a cheap little glass. It always tastes better. It's like
I always found that wine always tastes better when you have a wine with and a great experience. Right?
Oh.
You ever have that where you have a wine and it's like, that was the best wine ever because you were having a great time with great people.
Sure.
And then you buy it later on and you're like, yeah, this wine's pretty good, but it's not as good as I remember it. Right?
That's what you know, that's what we did Brothers Bond. It was like you know, obviously a nod to us, our bond on screen, but it was also like bonding while drinking the bourbon, which is what we're doing right now.
Right.
And hopefully people watching as well.
Smell that.
So delicious across the board. If somebody doesn't like that, you know, that high proof ride by it as much, it definitely softens down significantly with a little chill and a little water, and is really approachable still, even you know, at that proof level. You guys, people are asking. Some questions coming in. I see one. Somebody's asking, like, aside from drinking it neat or on the rocks, are there other ways to enjoy this? Would you ever put this in a cocktail or How are you guys thinking about that?
Yeah, in fact, a lot of mixologists love using the cask in cocktails, and people talk about that. You know, because we're a high rye, that lends itself to cocktails very well. And you can make you go on brothersbondbourbon.com, we have an entire cocktail section where you can literally see all the recipes and all the drinks that we created, and with our mixologists. Wow. And yeah, man, I mean,
smell that now. It's condensed and cold. But I mean, listen, obviously cask strength is a lot more expensive. We've been making cocktails with it. Just going through our drink strategy, it's incredible. The drinks with our cask strength are
man, that's good. Chilled. I got to tell you, there's something really nice about it being chilled.
Yeah, there really is.
Outside, but
I'm glad you guys answered that. I'm glad you guys answered that too, because some people, for whatever reason, think that when you get into a more expensive expression, that therefore that means that should only be drank neat or on the rocks.
No, definitely not.
I've always been a fan of either rye or high rye bourbon cocktails. Like I prefer a higher rye bourbon in my old fashioned, as an example, or in a Manhattan. And so, we're not going to do cocktails on this one, but to your point, this would make a fantastic cocktail, and that little bit of higher proof, that little bit of those stronger flavors being present in this, when you mix them and you make a good drink, you've got a different kind of balance thing going on. You know, you've got a little bit more spirit forward cocktail coming out of this, and you didn't waste your money on it. You're actually enjoying that in the cocktail in a different way. So definitely make
by the way, smell this now. Absolutely. You know, you're right. Like, you can blend this, and I'll tell you, we've been making these cocktails and playing around with the cask strength, and it really has been an amazing, amazing, amazing journey. Like, we were just up in NorCal doing a market visit, and there's a place up in, where is it? It's a town tavern. I want to say it's in Alameda. There's a guy named Stan that owns the place, and he made me an old-fashioned like this. But he used a walnut bitters that he sprayed into the glass and around it. This, and I started now spraying like with walnut bitters, orange bitters, like now spraying the glass, and this whole nose experience on top of the intensity of the flavors of this changed the whole game, man. Paul and I are sitting there.
I love it.
What is happening?
Anytime you've got a note that's in, like if this has a walnut, I definitely got the nuttiness, and I can see it being walnut. I wasn't able to identify the walnut, but whenever you have that, and you can take any of those notes and use them in the cocktail in a clever way like that. Like I was actually wondering, this has got a little bit of smoke, and if you like smoke, this might be interesting to do, to like smoke a glass, and then and then pour it. I don't know if you guys have ever tried that, but that's
we've definitely tried like with the smoked cocktails or whatever, and it's delicious. I haven't tried it with the cask yet.
No, I haven't either.
Oh.
Get on it, bro.
Get on it, Derek.
Smoke my cask.
Let's do that. So love this. Obviously, I would not be doing my job if I didn't mention this is available on Reserve Bar. We can ship it to you. In the near future, Reserve Bar will offer all of our products on demand as well. So you can order on Reserve Bar and typically have it brought within an hour or two. Because sometimes you've got like a Brothers Bond cask strength emergency, right? It's like, it's a 911 situation. Yeah, it's a 911 situation, and we will be able to handle that. Yeah, but it's on our site. Thank you. And the cool thing is we have both this cask strength, and of course I got a backup, by the way, because somebody's been nipping at my private stash, but I got another one. But these are both available on Reserve Bar. We also have some of your glassware on there, which is fantastic if you wanted to get, like I was drinking out of your Brothers Bond Glencairn, which is nice. We have your rocks glasses, and we have right now, if you spend $99, you would get free shipping, because we're only shipping now. We'll have on demand in October. But why not get yourself one of each of these?
You also do the etching too.
Yeah, one of each and try.
you also, that's what we love about Reserve Bar and our partnership is that you can also get the etched bottles, which make the most incredible gifts. Like, it really is.
Yeah, you can
and
etch it, yeah.
because you never know what to get someone. This is an amazing gift. By the way, we did 14,000 bottles of this. They're all numbered. They're going to go quickly, but this is going to be collectors. People are going to be collecting this. It's kind of hard to collect it.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like these medallions, you can also like write someone's name on the back, and
To
kind
and
of do
from.
your little thing. And,
Yep, to and from. As far as for a gift, whether it's a stocking stuffer under the tree, for people who love bourbon, man. I mean, this is the real deal.
You guys rolled around with every one of these medallions, didn't you? It was like a giant pit with all of the medallions in it, and you all rolled around in them and then put them on the bottles.
By
Is
the
that
way,
true? I heard that.
They're put on by hand, and so it's pretty. We have bags of them. It's pretty wild.
So let me ask you guys. Congrats on this. It's delicious. No surprise. I literally did. We were supposed to try it that night. I saw you in New York or whatever, and I forget what happened. So I've been saving it because I wanted to have an authentic first trial experience. It is really good. It's not surprising. It's born of the same amazing bourbon that you created with your original launch. Terrific. So, being somebody that's always looking for what's next, I know you guys are probably already thinking about that as well. What are you thinking about? What is next? One of the things.
Rye.
Go ahead.
Rye.
Yeah. Rye comes next.
100%.
95 proof.
And we already have it, and it's already winning awards.
Dude, it just won gold in New York. Yeah, I guess yesterday.
Speaking of awards, you guys didn't even mention this. This is a gold San Francisco World Spirits Competition.
Yep.
Gold medal winning. It's not just you
points.
handsome guys saying that this is delicious. It's actually a gold medal winner. And the preeminent blind. I'm a judge for that competition, and I can tell you, I tasted like 280 different things over the course of 3 days.
Wow.
And they all come in a glass like this with a number, and you have no idea what you're drinking.
Wow.
So it is the most authentic, legitimate award there is. So congratulations.
When you try it, do you cut it?
It depends. Every judge does what they want. And I was tasting, everything from, bourbons and tequilas and scotches and vodkas to, baijiu and, all kinds of crazy stuff. And every judge does it how they like. Personally, it depends on what it is. When I'm tasting bourbon, I would usually taste it, and I had a water dropper, and I would drop 2 drops of water in and taste it again and then put my rating in. But that is a legitimate award. There's no...
Thanks, man.
There's no buying that. There's no favors. There's no, you guys are known and that is like, you were tasted against hundreds of bourbon submissions.
Amazing.
And won a gold. So congrats.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
Yeah.
Rye is next. We're so grateful for that gold. That was, again, a 2-year project of love and insanity of 6 months of insane, intense blending. Remember, literally, like, everywhere we went, showing up at Paul's house for a dinner party, whatever. I had a wooden crate full of all the samples. Paul and I would sit down. All right, we got half an hour. Or we got this, or before a flight, or hey, I know we're all going to bed, but like, hey, we just never stopped. And this was the culmination of, again, tracking insane, incredible barrels with our team and our amazing partners at NGP, and sitting with Sam Schmelter, again, red eyes into Cincinnati, driving into Lawrenceburg, Indiana, as the sun is coming up, and just their barrels, tasting, blending barrels, and rating. And it was really amazing, man. And our rye, I mean, listen, we only have, I think, 280 barrels.
270. Oh, of our rye.
Of our rye, but then
Wow.
next year, no. Sorry, now I'm blanking. So next year, or sorry, in this other cycle, so in 24 months, we'll have an additional like 680 barrels. So like we don't have very much, but it's going to get incrementally more and more and more. And that's what's so special, right? Is like now that we've got it, we know what cooperage for what mash bill, what part of the rick house, for how long, you know what I mean? Like we finally got that piece down. So you've got two different cooperages, three different mash bills. Two of them are for one cooperage, another one's from another cooperage. Two of them do better in the lower parts of the rick house. One of them does better at the top. But right at that like 3-year mark, you've got to move those other two up and bring the other one down. Like it's freaking Tetris, man. It's pretty cool.
You guys are truly all in. Super proud of this partnership. I mean, anybody, again, these guys, you know, you never rest. This is not just like a side hustle.
See these
and
lines,
that's why
Eric?
you've been.
See these lines?
No,
This is
no,
not.
I don't. I don't. I'm older than you. I don't
It's
see
not.
your
It's too
lines.
pixelated.
No, it's the lights that.
Are you going to tell me next, like a little bit of cask strength? If you rub it like under the eyes, it gets rid of that.
Like an exfoliant.
Dude,
Exfoliant.
facial product.
There you go.
So look, so congrats. Appreciate that. You guys have worked so hard. Appreciate our partnership. This is really great. People can get it on Reserve Bar. One thing I'd like to do, so we should actually go and pick some individual casks. We have a new program called Top Flight, and we're going to some of the best bourbon and American whiskey makers in the country. We're also going to, we're doing cask pick, tequilas, which is sort of a new thing that we're pioneering. But I would love to go and taste some of your barrels and do some single barrel picks. And I think one of the things that might be cool is if, let's say Reserve Bar picks one, and each of you pick because you guys collaborate on this, and everything is the two of you as brothers deciding what to put out. But it could kind of be cool if you each picked your own barrel picks as well, because you guys align on things, but every's different. You probably have
It's not a bad idea.
some different tastes as well.
It's so funny because we could actually, but it'd be funny. They'd be really similar. I almost think that I love that. And you know how we could do it? So check this out. Obviously, because we have 3 barrels, right? We have three grains to get this 4 grain. The way Paul and I are doing these barrel programs, so check this out. I'm in my mid-40s, so I'm a lot older than people think, because they think that we're these young vampire guys. We've been around for a while now. And
well, when you live to be 7,000, you're still pretty young at 40.
Yeah, right. But even from a sustainability side, we love obviously port and we love all these things, but in our backyard here in California, we've got the most amazing access to California Syrah barrels, California Cabernet, California Zinfandel, even some of the vineyards 5 and 10 acres, small family-owned vineyards. So imagine this cask strength, but finished in a California Syrah barrel.
So here's what we're gonna do. That's an even better idea, Ian. We're gonna do 2 finishes. Let's do this. Let's each of you guys pick your own favorite finish with a different kind of wine barrel or sherry or whatever you each want to do, and then you can have some of it finished in Paul's pick and some of it finished in your pick. I would love to see that.
I'm going port.
You going port?
Hey, I'm Portuguese, Paul. I love it. Let's do it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put it in the port barrel.
Let's do
Port
it.
and Madeira is my jam.
Nice.
Can I climb into that barrel?
Yeah, I'm gonna lock you
They
up.
say you never been hit. Wait till you're hitting the head with a barrel head. They hurt. Get in there.
You guys, you crushed it again. Congratulations.
Thanks,
Thank you so much for sharing this time with me and with everybody who was on this with us. Thank you so much for joining.
We're so
Love what
grateful
you're
to
doing.
everyone.
Keep up the good work, fellas.
Keep up the good work yourself, my friend.
Derek.
And guys, Reserve Bar, we love you guys. Go on reservebar.com. Check out our cast. Check out our flagship 80. We got it all there, and you guys are awesome partners. Thank you for
Reserve Bar. Thank you for having this on. We were even thinking about maybe making sure
ice melted.
I know it's really beautiful, but just remember too, they do the etched bottles that are amazing gifts, and I gave you, Paul, some from Reserve Bar.
That's right.
Said hello, brother. Derek, we love and appreciate you, man.
Thanks, man.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers,
Always
guys.
a pleasure.
Cheers,
Cheers.
bro.
Take care.
Cheers, my bro.
Cheers, bud.